You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show.
Hello, Once Upon a Time fans. Bing as we're doing, and we are doing another after show right here, right now on AFTERBUZZTV.com for the Once Upon a Time Season 2 finale. It was so crazy, so fast, loved every single minute of it. I'm your host, Cathy Kelley, and joining me tonight is...
Hello everyone, I'm Tiona Hobson.
Hi everyone, I'm Marisa Serafini.
And I'm Kaori Takee.
Tonight's episode, so quick. Everything was so fast-paced.
So fast.
A
Yes,
lot
it was.
happened. A lot of things were resolved. And then the last 2 minutes, a lot of things got very messed up again.
Very crazy in the
Yes.
last 2 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, we had to watch that a couple times.
I'm still trying to
I'm
figure
like,
it out.
I feel like I'm on this high because it was so good. And I'm like, I don't know, I just want to talk about it.
Good thing we're here.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
It's funny how this works out. Life can be great sometimes. So, the very beginning, Rumple trying to kill Henry. I couldn't tell. We've seen a lot of, times in the past where Rumple has been imagining this. Do you guys think he was imagining it, or he was actually cutting that rope magically?
I think he was cutting it magically. You could see him slowly, like, just have that rope fray a little bit so it looks like it was kind of like an accident, but I don't think he would actually execute the entire thing.
I kind of thought it was real life too, because when he snapped out of it, he kind of realized what he was doing, and maybe he didn't mean to be doing it at first, and then he kind of realized, oh crap, like I almost just killed my grandson.
Well, because your magic is kind of, we've realized from when Emma finally uses her magic, it's done with emotion. And he's very emotional about being undone.
Yeah, I think he was a little possessed briefly. That's how it seemed like to me.
He's an evil dude.
I love him.
But you can see the depravity of Rumple, that he's thinking about it, even if he was thinking about it, like he has that level of darkness within him.
But he has like the power to do so much good too. That's the thing. What's so
That's how
tricky
everyone
about
sees
him. You know.
Yeah. So David and Mary Margaret come up and they tell Rumple that Tamara shot Bay. Bay fell through a portal. They think he's dead. Emma has to tell Henry. Henry's crying. Rumple blames it all on himself. He says he brought magic to this world to find Bay, and he's ultimately the one responsible for his death.
I felt really bad right there. I cried almost 5 times in the season finale, by the way.
I felt bad, but we kind of knew that Bay wasn't dead, so I didn't feel bad in that way. I'm like, he's not dead.
Some people thought he was dead.
I know, so I couldn't feel for Rumple because we knew he wasn't dead.
But isn't that kind of the same thing, never ever getting to communicate or see the person again?
Yeah.
You don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, it's always that risk.
Yeah, and they never had that father-son resolution yet.
I hope they get it next season.
Season 3. Well, that is something that we do want to talk about. I'm sure you have a lot more news, but just to mention for all of our fans out there, Season 3, Once Upon a Time, it is official.
Yes.
I think they said that there's enough story that they've written for further seasons too.
And they said
that hasn't been announced yet.
And the writers have been writing since like the beginning of May. They've been back up there all together writing and planning out season 3. So,
but everything's premeditated and calculated. All these little details that always lead up to something or something else, you know. So I have no doubt that they have plenty of seasons already in their heads.
Yeah, it's very well organized.
Yeah.
As we can see, there's some characters, which we'll talk about later, that are back in the story. Sorry, a little tease there. Rumple and Lacey. Rumple and Belle. So freaking cute. So, Leroy, it seems like everyone, that was a major theme in tonight's episode. Everyone was finally coming together. And that is one of those things that, you know, happens in the real world, where when there's tragedy or disasters about to strike, everyone's family, everyone's friends. Leroy, who we know has a huge problem with Rumple, ended up giving Rumple a potion to get Belle back to her normal self. No more racy Lacey.
It was more for Belle, though, right?
Yeah,
More for Belle.
it was for Belle, but he could have been vindictive and not given it to Rumple at all.
That's true. But I feel like he feels like he owed Belle so much that he just had to do it.
Why was he holding out on that?
I know, right? I was thinking that.
Maybe save it for the perfect time, like
Which is
when
before
everyone's
death.
gonna die at the end of the world.
You only have 5 minutes to spend with her, but
yeah, I liked how Rumple brought up the fact, like, oh, how convenient that Mother Superior just now, you know, finished this batch just in time for us to all die.
yeah.
That was a cool scene, actually.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny scene with them. Whenever Leroy is on camera, you just know something funny is gonna happen.
I thought it was funny that Sleepy was like, I don't want to know what I'm gonna be because I'm gonna die right now. I thought that was pretty good.
I liked how the potion needed something sentimental too, something that was close to yourself, that meant a lot to you in order to work also.
And we got to see the chip cup back.
I
again.
love that he still
Exactly.
has the chip cup. That just proves how much he loves Belle.
He could have fixed that cup a long time ago because he just did his whoosh little magic thing and it, you know, it repaired itself. He could have done that a long time ago.
So, Belle's memory came back. They were in love, and they cried and they kissed, and
And
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe this will come in play more in season 3, but she really wasn't that upset with what he had been doing while she was Racy Lacey.
I don't think there was any time to be upset
I know,
because she
because
knew
it's
what was
like
going
the end
on.
of the world and everything, but maybe she'll get mad in season 3.
Maybe
Maybe
while
she'll
they're-
just be over it, and
Well, she won't have.
Maybe she'll hold it over.
He'll never know at that time being because he's far away now.
that was something that like we've brought up a lot. You know, what's her reaction going to be when she gets her her memories back? And
I honestly thought it was going to be the magical mirror that Beast gives to Belle in the the regular storyline that we're all familiar with. I thought the magical mirror was going to play into getting her memories back. Maybe I still will.
Yeah.
Like maybe for the future,
Yeah.
maybe not for her memories, but it'll come into play sooner.
for communication, because wasn't that how she saw her dad and got to see the outside world? So maybe she'll be able to look into a mirror and see where they are in Neverland.
Yeah, and
or
Beast gave it to Belle to say, like, to remember me by if, you need to look at me or something,
And Regina also has that magic mirror too, right? So
yeah,
maybe.
probably the same magic mirror.
maybe there'll be
Are
a
there
portal-y
multiple
thing.
Looking
So-
glass.
Getting into Neverland, we got a lot of backstory on Bae. We knew that this was coming from last week, and a couple weeks out, I guess. Bae was dropped in Neverland by the Shadow into the water. He's on Hook's ship, and they keep on referring to the Shadow or Peter Pan as him. They never say Peter Pan until the last 5 minutes of the episode, and so I couldn't tell who are they
were
referring to.
I had an inkling it was going to be Peter Pan because they're already in Neverland.
That's still not confirmed, though.
I think it's Peter Pan.
Well, I was just confused because they kept saying he, and at this point I'm like, why aren't we just using his name? Because if we're in Neverland and we all already think and assume that it's Peter Pan. Why are we still saying, like, is it who he's looking for?
It's the writers. They want to keep some level of suspense and mystery, and honestly, I don't think that he is Peter Pan.
But I thought they said that at the very end.
At the very end they did, but I feel like, I don't know, there's still something
twisted going on there.
I think that the Shadow and Peter Pan might not be the same person still. We actually had, you guys all know, but for the people who are listening, we had Ethan Embry in last week, and he alluded to the Shadow and Peter Pan never got along in the Disney story, so maybe they are two separate things.
I think the Shadow is Peter Pan's shadow. But they are two separate things.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, I think
still don't know who
the
Peter
Shadow
Pan is.
kind of rules on its own agenda.
But just like in the cartoon, the Shadow is going against Peter Pan's.
I always wondered, how can the Shadow get to other worlds? Is that because it's only the Shadow? It's not a person?
The shadows are transient. They can travel from place to place.
So maybe Peter Pan is stuck in Neverland, but he can send his shadow to do his dirty deeds.
Well, because something that Hook said in this episode when Bae was saying, hey, I want to take me back to the Darlings, he said, you can't leave Neverland. So if that's the case, then how are people... How did Bae get out of Neverland? I think we know that Peter Pan always kind of went back and forth, and everyone else was always stuck there.
The Shadow can move to a different place, because I'm referring to the Disney Peter Pan, because that's the only one I really know. When Wendy had Peter Pan's shadow, and Peter Pan was still in Neverland, so we know the Shadow can be in other places at once.
So I want to mention really quickly, one of our fans, Chris James W, sent in a picture on Twitter. I don't know if you guys all saw it, but it's a picture from the Disney movie of Peter Pan, and Wendy and Peter are on the clock, and the clock's time is 8:15.
Oh.
Yeah. We knew that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it starts when they're about to land. It's at like 8:10, and then as they're landing on it, they push it down to 8:15.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But another fan mentioned that to us earlier in the season. That it was
I think that's so cool. So
could be the same fan.
One other thing.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. One other thing that I noticed in this episode was Hook said that he's very new to Neverland. How did he get to Neverland? And it's just...
I feel like we had that resolved at the beginning, sometime in this season. We found out why he got to Neverland. Hook.
Was it...
Well, he just always said that he had explored many realms, and he's familiar with all these different places and stuff.
Was it something to do after Rumpel killed Mila?
I think so. I think when he threw that bean down, that's when he first went to Neverland.
That's how Hook went to Neverland.
Yeah, and then once he was there, he was probably stuck there.
Yeah.
Because he said he couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So I got out.
I was trying to put a timeline together, because a lot of fans have been asking on Twitter and on our YouTube lately what the storyline was for Rumpel, Mila, Hook, and Bae. And we had mentioned this while we were watching, but when Hook and Mila are in a pub, Rumpel comes to confront them. He's with Bae. Bae comes inside and sees this confrontation between Hook, Mila, and Rumpel. So how come Bae doesn't recognize Hook when he gets on his ship?
He may not have seen Hook right away, because I think Rumpel was like, Bae, you're not supposed to be in here, and he immediately turned him around to leave. So he might not have just seen him.
And when you're that young in a crowded place, he might have just seen his mom there and not recognized that Hook was sitting there.
It was just interesting that they had been in the same
they have been around
location
each other
and
crossed paths before.
Neither of them. You would think that Hook would at least recognize him without, having to hear the story from Bae. But Smee and Hook start off the scene, and they said the boy belongs to him, alluding to either Peter or the Shadow, and if we return the boy to him, that could be the key to our survival.
Ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... A little cryptic.
I mean, what is there to
Silence
fear in...
That's what I'm excited about for season 3. We get to see why people fear Peter Pan if it's him so much, because the story that we all know from, you know, the Disney version is the nice version of Peter Pan, who, you know, Captain Hook wasn't necessarily afraid of him, but, you know, they were mortal enemies who were always fighting each other and trying to outdo each other every time. And now we have this situation where we see Hook in a difficult decision-making standpoint where he has to decide what to do with this boy, to offer him up to this power that be Peter Pan or keep him for himself.
It's very odd to see Peter being the one, or the shadow being the one with all the power, because in the Disney version we see, you know, Hook is the bad guy and Peter's obviously the hero, and
well, I mean, there's two sides to every story, so
flipped.
maybe we'll figure out that, you know, Peter / Shadow or one or the other actually has like a reason, and Hook ends up being
I
bad.
don't think Peter has a good reason. Those Lost Boys look really creepy.
I was scared.
I don't know.
And they looked a lot older than I thought they would.
Yeah, they didn't look like boys, they looked like men.
They look like young adults, not kids.
Yeah, those hoodies, man. I was like, whoa, this is Peter Pan's taking the dark turn. I kind of like it.
But I like how Once Upon a Time is showing the darker aspect of Neverland compared to the happy Neverland that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I like it. I like dark stuff.
Yeah.
And we got
makes it more interesting.
Yeah, we got a lot of references to mermaids tonight.
Yeah,
but we didn't see any mermaids yet, but there is a couple mermaid hints in there.
Ariel, maybe a Little Mermaid coming up. Hope so.
That'd be cool.
Another character we haven't seen yet, or we don't know if we've seen yet, is Tiger Lily.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. But
or Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Or Tinkerbell, yeah. We did get to see a lot of Hook trying to be a stepdad tonight. He was, you know, he found out that Bae was Mila's son, and he seemed like he stepped up to the plate for a little bit before he handed Bae over to the Lost Boys. But, you know, he was giving him advice, and then Bae comes out, and this seemed very forced for me, but Bae told him essentially how to kill Rumple with a dagger.
But I think that's exactly why Hook was being so nice to Bae, because he was trying to gain his trust, have him be all nice and friendly to him, and then kind of wait to see Bae to slip important information, because he already knew that Bae was the son of the Dark One. Dark One is the one he's after, so I think he was just waiting out the time so Bae can reveal important information.
There was a point, though, that it kind of looked like he felt guilty about.
Yeah, I think there were some genuine words coming out of his mouth.
He said at one point, you know, Mila and I wanted to come back for you when you were older and take care of you, and maybe this is fate putting us together. He did save Bae after finding out that who he was. He didn't let the Lost Boys take him originally.
And he finds out that they were both abandoned, so they do have a lot of similarities. So I think he empathized with him with that too.
Like Ethan Embry said last week, there are a lot of orphans in the show.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
I want to see more of Hook's backstory.
And I think that whole conversation with Hook trying to be more of a father figure, I think it kind of crossed over into Storybrooke too, because I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but when they were all at Mary Margaret's apartment and as they were leaving, and Hook kind of looked at David and was like, the things we do for our kids. And when he said that, we hadn't seen this part yet, I don't think. And I was kind of like, wait, who said that? Because Hook doesn't have any kids that we know about, but, you know, talking about, you know, the sacrifices you make for...
He's got an attachment.
Right? He's got an attachment to little Bae.
Yeah.
And he did say he's done fighting, wanting to kill Rumple, which I thought, let's see how long this is going to last.
Until they're trying to navigate the ship together. No, I said left! Starboard! Backseat shipper. I don't know.
I thought it was
left his port.
I thought it was cool watching.
Clearly, I'm an expert boater. I don't know what they're called.
I thought it was cool watching Hook teach him how to sail a ship and all those little things that put things together. I thought that was really cute.
That was really cute.
I think Hook would have been a really good dad. Stepdad. Had he not turned him over at the end.
Yeah.
Clearly, he has his own motives, And that is another theme that we saw this entire episode, and we've seen this entire season. Hook is struggling between being a good guy and wanting to do things solely for himself.
Yeah.
But
at least we know who taught Bae how to sail a ship.
Yep.
Officially, it was Captain Hook.
I give Hook a lot more props after this episode, because for a while I thought he was kind of being a tool, being used around, but this time around he's redeemed himself. He's cool.
Yeah. And I like how they gave him like a walking stick, and he's got kind of a limp still.
Yeah.
Because he had broken his leg and was back on set shooting with a broken leg. So.
So flashing back to the episode where we had Jack and the Beanstalk, and Hook says to Emma, "I've seen a lot of orphans. Like, I can tell when someone's an orphan." I thought because he had seen all the Lost Boys.
It's true.
It's just
and himself.
Yeah.
He sees it in their eyes.
Yep.
But I didn't really get to see that much of the sadness in the Lost Boys' eyes tonight. They just seemed like they were on a mission, and
They have an agenda.
even last episode, Wendy said they were crying themselves to sleep at night. They seemed evil. They didn't seem sad.
But I wonder because, I mean, all right, we're just going to go there. Because they end up taking Bae to, they said put him with the others. So I'm assuming that the others are the ones who are crying every night
that's what I'm
and
thinking.
missing home.
Why does Peter Pan or the Shadow have these cronies that are helping him when he clearly stole them away from their families?
Maybe those are the ones who either escaped with him at the time, or the people who wanted to get away from their families.
All right, don't kill me, guys, but these dark guys, these men, boyish guys, was it confirmed that they were the Lost Boys? Because I feel like maybe the others are the Lost Boys.
They just said they were lost ones.
You know what I mean?
Lost ones, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't call them lost boys. They called them lost ones.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Could be a difference.
So
Maybe I think they're working for the big mysterious he.
Peter Pan.
it seems like it's all together. Actually, I got a really good prediction on Twitter. I think E. Scott McDougal or someone sent me something that said they think that the initiative that Tamara and Greg are working for could be started by Wendy back in the day, because she wanted to get rid of magic because magic stole Bae away from them.
That's an interesting twist, and it's possible. I kind of like that possibility.
Or maybe Wendy started it just so they can find Peter Pan and bring him back.
Exactly.
So.
And that is a key to, you know, all of us coming together. They're trying to find Henry, blah, blah, blah. We'll get there.
Season 3.
Yeah. Bae, when he finds out that Hook is the one who stole Mila away from their family and ruined the entire family, it reminded me of the typical teen fighting with their parent, like, no, I don't want to stay with you. I want to go back to the Darlings. It was cute. But Bae said to Hook, all you care about is yourself. And that's when Hook told the Lost Boys where to find Bae. They took him.
And something else that Bae kind of yelled at him was that, you know, you're so focused on your hatred for my father and trying to kill my father that you don't realize that you're just like him. And I think that kind of hit home for Hook a little bit, because, I mean, they are kind of the same. They get hung up on one thing that happened from one person, screwed them over, so they're going to focus all their energy on getting back at that one person.
And we know that revenge doesn't work out, because we saw that with Mary Margaret getting revenge on Cora, turned her heart black.
Yeah, and then now Hook always says, I have to look out for myself. He's only in it for himself.
Yeah. So I think that wraps up Storybrooke, or Neverland. There's one more thing I wanted to say about that. Hook ends up asking one of the people who took Bae, will he be happy now? It seemed like there had to be some sort of peace offering to Peter Pan or the Shadow to stay safe in Neverland.
Well,
so what is he trying to, or what is Hook trying to get from him?
Maybe just a peace offering.
Yeah.
Because they're always at each other's throats, judging from, you know, the Disney version.
But it doesn't seem like, if he hasn't been there that long, how much interaction have they really had?
I mean, you know, Hook is a pretty powerful guy. He probably is the only other powerful person other than Peter Pan, so it's a threat.
Yeah.
So.
So before we get into destroying Storybrooke. I want to mention, if you're not watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, or if you are watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com live, if you're watching us on YouTube, then please take 2 seconds to go over to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast there. All you have to do is type in AfterBuzz TV. You can find all of our Once Upon a Time after shows from this past season, and along with 50 to 60 other shows that we do every single week. If you are a fan of anything on TV, we probably have a show for it. So head on over there, download, subscribe, and then if you could take 30 seconds, rate and comment on our show. We would love to hear your feedback. We're always trying to improve, and 5 stars would be awesome. So, destroying Storybrooke. Greg and Tamara, they are on a mission to get rid of Storybrooke. They have the diamond, and they tell Hook their entire plan, which is really stupid.
You don't tell Hook.
Wait, but as it turned out at the end, that was not their plan. So actually what they did was very smart, because they knew Hook would go tell everyone the plan, divert everyone's attention there so they could come back and do what they actually wanted to do.
I know. Which
evil
completely
geniuses
threw us for a loop too.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So Greg and Tamara say that they are willing to die for their cause. Is Hook willing to die for his cause? We didn't think so, but it looks like...
No, well, he says he is, and then he runs off and says, you know what, I don't want to die, so I changed my mind.
For me, I was like, there's no way that guy's willing to die, because if he dies at the same time as Rumple, then where was the revenge in that?
Right.
Yeah. That's
Very
exactly
true.
what he said. He's like, I want to live first, and then I'll have revenge.
So Greg and Tamara smash the diamond with a pickaxe, and vines start coming out. Seemed very odd.
I didn't realize until later on that it was actually the forest
taking over.
Yeah.
Because the vines coming out, I was kind of, wait, why are vines just suddenly appearing?
It reminded me of Jumanji. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jumanji.
Yeah. Which I don't think is Disney, but...
No. I liked how they started the curse, though, because with the pickaxes, they've always mentioned that you need magic to start it, and then if you think about the magical pickaxe, so technically they did start with magic.
I want to find out who their leader is, because how do they know all these little details, like this pickaxe is the thing to do, and this is that, and
if you remember at the end of the episode, Rumple says that they don't really know who they're working for.
It's crazy.
So do they know who? Was he like saying that they don't know who they're working for? They just have no idea and they're taking orders from some random person, or they don't realize that the person that they're working for is so evil?
Okay,
I think
so
that's the
on that
second one.
note, Hook also told them in the mines, you guys don't even realize who you're working for, is what you're saying. And then they're like, oh, well, we're willing to die for our cause, blah, blah, blah. So when you were saying something earlier, I was writing this down. So Hook asked, will he be happy now, to the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys, we find out, we're looking for Henry, actually. Hook knows that whoever he's trying to make happy, and if the people in Neverland are actually the people who Greg and Tamara are working for, then Hook knows who they're working for. And at that point, that line makes sense of, like, you don't even realize like, the evil that you're working for.
I am with you.
Boom.
Through all that, that was a
through all
mind
that.
blown.
Mind equal blown.
Yeah, no, totally.
So that's what I've
So
been over here
Hook
writing
knows.
down.
So Hook knows, but Tamara and Greg don't.
Yes.
That's what I think at this point,
Well, I think
because
They're just pawns, and they said
they were
that they're working for this higher power.
I think they know who it is, but they don't realize who it is, you know?
or exactly what this person is after, because at this point we kind of know who they're working for. We don't know why this person is after what they want and what is the motive behind everything.
Right.
So getting back to the diamond, I know we're on a spree here.
I know. It's
We'll,
like the
we'll
show.
save a little bit for the end. But getting back to the diamond, they activated the diamond, and Regina informs us that Henry's the only one who will live because he was born here. Everyone else will die, but there might be a solution. She can slow it down, but it will destroy her. So selfless, so stupid.
Well,
I mean, it
That's heroic.
it was very heroic.
Yeah.
It just, I'm so happy we got to see a good side to Regina. That she's finally, it's taken her long
But
enough.
it's not the first time that she's saved people or tried to save.
But this is the most selfless thing that she's ever done.
Sure, but like the well part, she risked her life. Well, I thought she was gonna die briefly at that part where she opened the portal or saved them, whatnot.
They're not gonna kill Regina.
Yeah, they're not gonna
No,
kill
they're not
Regina.
going to kill her off. But I think that at this point, her doing this selfless act was actually a gesture in what she's been struggling with all season in becoming the good person that Henry wants her to become. And she's finally showing it in a way that's not just for purely selfish reasons. You know, she's actually going out there to, she's like, you know what, for the betterment of everyone, this is my fault because I brought this here. Now they want to destroy everything.
And she's finally taking responsibility.
Yeah, she's taking responsibility and owning up to the fact that, you know, this is my problem, so I'm going to go deal with it.
This might be this might be jumping ahead, but on the ship we have Regina and Rumple, the most evil people from Storybrooke. They've joined forces for an even more evil person. So I'm really interested for season 3. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but going back, that Regina also said that everyone's calling me evil queen, and so let me just die as Regina,
Love that
who's
line.
known as good, someone
Love
good.
that line. Yeah.
She's atoning her actions.
So no one really wants to see Regina die. Emma is a little weary. She's like, we should all just get back there. Use the magic bean. Get back there. Regina can stay. But it's actually Mary Margaret and Henry who say, we can't leave Regina. We have to send this vine thing wherever and use the magic bean. Unfortunately, they don't have the bean because Hook has it. Well, first, Greg and Tamara had it. Then Hook stole it, and then
They had a little throwdown.
that was intense.
Of course, Tamara trips.
Well, she couldn't get away.
He should have shot her in the leg.
So, during that whole tiff, it was very interesting to see how Hook and David were working together. And then he's like, no, don't go after them. But if he had gone after them, they might not have gotten to Henry.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but at that point, they were
They
supposed to
didn't
just go
know,
straight back to the diner and all jump through
Yeah,
a
of
portal
course.
with Henry.
But you
Right.
know that if you don't go after Greg and Tamara at this point, last time someone didn't go after them, they came back and they killed Neil potentially. Like
I think they just thought, okay, they're gonna be stuck anyways. We got the bean now. We're gonna go in the portal. Peace out.
Yeah. At that point, everyone they know is already safe at Granny's, so it's like, let's just get there, throw down the portal, and jump through, and all be together again.
Yeah.
David was stupid to trust Hook. Hook
Oh,
played him,
Yeah.
took the bean. Fortunately, he came back later in the episode, but they were almost screwed, and all of them almost died.
Yeah, didn't think that one out.
So, also, I just want to mention this. We kind of skipped over it, but my favorite 10 seconds in tonight's episode was when David clocked Hook. When he walked in the door, he's like, boom, bam, right in the face.
That's for the last time we met.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah. Just really funny. But after they realize that they're all gonna die, it seems like everyone really comes together. And it was another super sad moment.
I thought it was touching. You know, when the world's ending, who do you go to? The ones that you love.
Yeah.
And how awesome that Emma turns and goes, Mom, Dad.
Yeah, that was cute.
That had me in tears because, I mean, we've seen her struggling with this whole having parents now thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, the world's ending and she finally, like, accepts it. And then you have Henry going to Regina to show that he does still love her, that she's still his mom. It was just a beautiful family moment. That family is finally getting along. So maybe we should end the world all the time so that all the dysfunction
Almost
will just go
end
away.
the world.
Yeah, almost in the world every week so that they can get along.
Yeah. And then during that same scene, Regina tells Henry that she loves him and he hugs her. And that was adorable.
Because that's what Regina wanted, Henry's love.
Yeah.
So she finally got
And she
that.
sincerely got it. Yeah. I think she's had it all along. He's just kind of doubted whether she was a good person or not. But
She got validation.
right before Hook took off, he found out that Bay is Henry's dad, and I wanted to know what the significance was for that. Like, why that made him jet, it seemed like.
I feel like we don't know what happened in the past after he gave up Bay, but
Which I'm sure we'll see in season 3.
yeah, and I feel like he probably feels like he owes something to Neil, whatever that is going to be.
But then why'd he take off?
Because at first he's thinking in his pirate orphan mentality, take care of yourself. And then as he's on the boat and he sees the thing that he had carved on there from Bay when he was teaching him how to sail, it was like, oh, okay, like,
That's
I
my
owe it to this
stepson.
guy.
Yeah, he's like,
You know.
crap, I can't do this.
He was almost my stepson.
I wanted to take a better look, and these are just, our reactions coming off right from when we watched the show, but I want to go back and actually look at that sign, because I feel like, with Lost, with Once Upon a Time, those writers, every single thing they do has some meaning, and I want to know what that little
Z-ish sign?
that means, if there's
like
some
P,
further significance.
and then kind of look
And then
like
S.
angles, and then a circle in between, and then the S.
I'm sure we'll
If any
figure
of you
it out.
guys know at home, please leave it in the YouTube comments or comment on iTunes. Let us know. Also on Twitter.
Like, I got the port and starboard, but
Yeah.
I don't know the middle symbol.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign from Neverland.
But he
think
carved out
compass.
another one.
Yeah. Maybe
So,
it's
like,
something in Neverland.
Yeah.
So during this episode, Emma gets to use her magic again, and Emma and Regina, Henry's two mothers, team up to save Storybrooke. They destroy the diamond with their magic. Got pretty intense for a second.
I wish it was a little more intense,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. It was a little too easy.
Yeah.
It's a little underwhelming.
I said she was
Yeah.
magical. I'm like, Emma, you're magical.
We
Help
knew
her.
she's been magical
Yeah.
for several weeks
But
now.
like I knew like she was gonna use her magic in some way to help stop stop it and help Regina.
Emma's magic is something that I really hope they focus on next season,
Sure, yeah.
because they kept bringing it in so sporadically that you almost forgot that she has this talent. And does she know what she can do with it yet? Like, has she been working with Rumble on the side to
I hope she
kind of
doesn't work with
explore what it,
Rumble.
like, how did she know what to do? Regina didn't tell her, oh, we're harnessing this, she just walked up and put her hands there and
It's because
knew.
her magic is through her emotions. Like, I think that's how she channels it. And we saw that when her and Snow were in the Enchanted Forest. She just had to have some emotion to spark that magic.
Yeah, her power is like the ability to will things. So if she helped will to stop it, then that might have been it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tamara and Greg kidnap Henry. They said that they came here to destroy magic, but they found something better. You. Henry. They take him into a portal to Neverland. What is in Neverland? Why are they going there? Is that where the initiative is? Is that who the higher power is that's telling them what to do?
Is it Peter Pan?
And if you're so against magic, why are you taking
Using
a
it,
magical
right, yeah.
land? You were here to destroy everything magical. But, I mean, maybe they were just out destroying all magical things until they found what he was looking for.
They have a lot more insider information than I originally thought.
Yeah, they do.
I thought when Gregory first came in that he was just a fan, and they seem to be running the show right now.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like Tamara, so...
I want to know,
I don't think
have
any
they
of us
ever
do.
have they
Yeah,
ever
definitely running
been
the
to
show.
another magical land before? Because they seemed pretty okay with jumping through that portal.
Well, they
no
knew exactly
hesitation.
They
what to
obviously
do.
have experience with witnessing magic, so they're not afraid of anything.
And destroying it, because they
Yeah.
said last week, this isn't the first world or the first
Yeah.
magical people we're destroying.
Why did it take them...
Didn't they want to cleanse magic?
I'm just curious how why it took them so long to recognize Henry, if there was a sketch of him.
I don't think
Well, they
that
might not have
knew.
seen that before.
Okay, because...
Yeah. Because as they were sending the intel back to
Yeah.
headquarters,
We know-
then that's when it was figured out.
They are somehow able to communicate with this, power that's directing them as to what to do. I don't know how. It doesn't seem like you can use cell phones to talk to people in Neverland, but
They don't need cell phones with that kind of magic,
Yeah.
I guess.
I want to know, there has to be some way to communicate in between lands.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Which
found
is
a way
crazy.
last time, so they'll find a way.
Yeah,
Again.
they will.
Yeah.
So, as we said before, Hook comes back with his ship and the bean. Rumpel says he can track everyone. This big, dysfunctional family is finally coming together for one
Sweet.
cause, to save Henry.
I like it.
Oh my gosh. Got
They're all on the same page.
Hook, Regina, Rumpelstiltskin, Mary Margaret, David, and Emma all go on a boat. That
Everyone's
sounds like
arch
the,
enemies.
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect opening line to a huge joke. That
I was
don't
thinking
know
it was
where
like
it's going.
a Maury episode or something.
Right.
They're gonna get some serious cabin fever.
I love those family trees online. If you've ever seen the family
Yeah.
trees online of Once Upon a Time, how everyone is related, it's absolutely mind-boggling to see where it all crosses over and who's related to who and who should not be dating other people because they are way too close to each other and whatever. Okay, so Rumpel ends up telling Belle, even though they just found each other, he has to leave her. She can't come on the ship because of the prophecy that the boy will be his undoing. He thinks it's Henry.
Oh, I think he can't go on. She can't go on the ship because he wants her to do the cloak thing.
For the
Yeah.
town.
It protects
Yeah,
Storybrooke.
wants him to stay back
Yeah.
for that. So that was.
I think he
really
also wants to
noble.
protect her.
Yeah, so she
because
doesn't
he
get in
doesn't know
trouble.
what they're going to face.
But that
when
was
they get to
really
Neverland.
noble of him to give her up. It was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Especially when he just got her back.
Yeah.
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 So this prophecy, I have a little bit of a problem with it. It's very vague, and all it says is that a boy will be his undoing. I think everyone assumes that that means that he will die because of this boy. Do we for sure know that it's Henry? And could it be one of the Lost Boys?
Didn't they say he
like
was gonna
Peter
die?
Pan? I mean,
I
like,
think
it was alluded to, and I think the prophet said, like, I
gotta look back onto
The
that.
prophecy said a boy will lead you to your son, and the boy will also be your undoing. So what
Right.
if the prophecy is about the boy, Peter Pan, who has Bay in Neverland at one point,
Oh,
About the boy who
about
led
the boy who
There you
led
go.
them
to
Yeah.
this.
there to
we don't
his
know
son.
what boy
That
it
was,
is.
like, the start.
That's still up in the air, potentially up in the air. Peter Pan, no.
Yeah.
But it could be Henry. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate with this. But then it also says it'll be his undoing. Does that mean that it will be Rumpel's undoing or the Dark One's undoing? Because maybe it could just be that he will lose his powers
and revert to.
Yeah.
A regular
coward.
man.
Exactly.
That's how I always wanted
there's
to take it, because
so
I know that
many.
Rumpel wants to be like, my undoing, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And I always am like, well, it doesn't say you're gonna die. It says it'll be your undoing, and maybe it will just be his undoing as the Dark One.
If Rumpel dies, it will be in one of the last episodes in the last season. Just saying it.
Don't die.
It's not going to happen any sooner.
He's not gonna die.
Yeah. Thank you, Marissa. I needed that.
So Belle says Bay would be proud of you as Rumpel's about to get on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have
So
been
cute.
proud.
Yeah, he
He's
would have.
finally doing something good.
Yeah.
Him and Regina this episode, guys.
Woo woo, Team
Right.
R.
Redemption.
Rumpel conjures up his globe tracky thing, and they find that Henry is in Neverland. They throw the magic bean in the water, head down the portal, and who is over there
Waiting for them.
other than Greg and Tamara and Henry? Kind of crazy to think.
You know,
What's to happen next season?
Well, Neil's over there somewhere. With
Well,
Aurora.
no.
Well, not Neverland. I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the
Yeah.
other world.
So Rumpel says right at the very end, they don't even know who they're working for. It's someone you all should fear. So an evil greater than Rumpel and Regina combined, potentially.
It's gotta be
Do they
someone
have
serious.
magic?
Yeah,
Because
crazy.
if Rumpel's afraid of him, then it's gotta be someone serious.
that's true.
Yeah. So, as you said, we see a very short clip of Neil. You could have blinked and it would have been gone. We see a very short clip of Neil in the Enchanted Forest, the section that hasn't been destroyed, Aurora, Philip, and Mulan all show up to his side. They're like, is he dead? Is he alive? Crazy. I was screaming and jumping.
She was.
I was so excited.
She was.
So excited.
He's definitely not dead.
No.
They're gonna heal him, and it'll all be good. And someday they will all be reunited.
Because I've been wondering when they were going to bring back Aurora and Mulan, because I know that we saw that they had tweeted that they were up there doing stuff, and Philip. So hopefully we get to see how they were able to get Philip back.
This is gonna be great. They'll be like, "Oh, Emma, you're her man, kind of.
Oh, you're her baby daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're her baby daddy.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
So at the very end, we see the Lost Boys, or Peter Pan's cronies, and they say, it may take time, but Peter Pan never fails. They have to find this boy. We see the picture of the boy, and it's Henry.
Sketch Henry.
See, the thing I don't get about the scene is that we have young Bay there, but they have a picture of Henry. So,
Which means they've been looking.
But
Very
that
good point.
but that
This
makes
is
the time
years.
that makes the timeline different
because
do they
there are
have access to
prophecies.
the future?
There are prophecies, and they know, like, something about Henry is, I think he must be magical or something.
I just
He
think
is
that
the
they've
key
been-
to getting rid of magic, or
He's
something
'cause
or
he
getting
is
out of Neverland.
maybe getting them out of Neverland, because they say it's definitely back in the timeline. This is years ago, so they've been looking for this kid for hundreds of years. And I think it's just something that was predicted, like, this is going to be the person to do something. So it was one of those things. Every boy that came into Neverland, they had to.
Why do
They
keep
wanted to
capture?
Why do they keep capturing boys if they
So-
have a composite of this guy and
So-
they could put it together beforehand?
If you remember back to last episode, Wendy was taken back to England because she said, like, he came back for another, or what, like, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like one boy
they
could release all of the other ones, potentially. Like,
Yeah. Because they wanted to take her brother instead.
it was like a trade. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that Henry
Peter
will
Pan-
be
I
like
don't
maybe the undoing for he in Neverland, who
I think the
is
reason
keeping these boys captive.
Yeah, the reason why Peter Pan has been taking all these boys is because he's trying to find, or the Shadow has been taking all of these boys is because Peter Pan is trying to find Henry. And maybe the Shadow doesn't know who it is. He's just trying to find a boy that
That just puzzles me that they have a picture of the boy and instead of
years
just
in
like, getting
advance.
all these.
It's because it's
different
a
boys.
prophecy. I mean,
But they're
Yeah,
getting
and
all
That's
these
where I
other
was getting
boys.
And the
lost.
ones who were looking for the boy who were out there, they didn't have the picture with them to
Right.
hold it up to do a side
No,
by side
did
comparison.
you notice-
Sure, but like the kid's a little more round, you know.
They
Yeah.
said you can live to
Yeah.
Bay. Like, whether maybe they do kill some people when they come in. It's kind of crazy to think about. So, news and gossip.
Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so we already told you guys that season 3 was officially announced on Friday. Well, ABC also picked up Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. The spinoff is definitely going to be coming for a full season. So I know that there's mixed feelings on this panel about having the spinoff.
I'm getting used to it.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I think
See,
it's
the
going to
thing
be
is,
really
I
fun.
don't like the idea that there's already a spin-off and the show literally just finished its second season, but me being a fan, I'll probably still watch it.
I will
Yeah.
definitely watch it. It might just be too much of a good thing.
Right.
I think it's a great way because, I mean, since they already have, ideas for seasons to come, it's like another outlet to get.
Sure.
And it's
More
not going to be
answers.
anything with Storybrooke or anything like that. It's going to be completely separate on its own. So, speaking of shows getting picked up, Megan Ori's show Intelligence was picked up by CBS. She plays Red, or Ruby.
Right.
So, I mean, I noticed that she wasn't in this finale episode because she was probably off shooting the pilot for this when this happened. So, expect to see a lot less of Ruby next season. Her show is also starring Josh Holloway from Lost. So, at least she'll be a little bit in the family of people there. And then, Jiminy Cricket, Raphael Sbarge. He's joining the cast of TNT's new drama Murder in the First as a series regular.
This was the first time we saw him in a very long time. This episode.
He did a little thing on Castle for a while. He's also going to be recurring on Necessary Roughness all summer, so I think he was kind of off shooting some other things.
Okay.
But he's going to be playing a police inspector alongside Taye Diggs for TNT. So expect to see a lot less of Archie, which I guess is convenient since everyone just went to Neverland anyway. So Storybrooke is kind of just left over there.
Yeah.
And then the last show we're going to talk about is Jamie Dornan, Sheriff Graham.
We have another show.
He's in a new BBC crime thriller called The Fall. He's going to be playing a killer who is being tracked down by a detective. He said that it's a very different character. It's very dark. I play a pretty disgusting human being, definitely a world away from Once Upon a Time.
I don't believe it. I don't see him as a killer. He's
killing people.
No,
okay? So it begins airing in the UK soon, but it'll be released on Netflix on May 28th, so everyone can go watch all 5 episodes of that.
Jamie's a lover, not a fighter.
Because we know him personally here at AfterBuzz TV.
Only in the dreams. Okay.
He's a married man now. And
So-
that's it for that's the final news and gossip for season 2 of Once Upon a Time.
Well, thank you for
Thank you, Tiana.
conjuring up all our news and gossip all season long, Tiana.
No problem.
You're awesome.
Predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I don't even know what to predict.
It's so hard to
We
make
did
predictions.
a lot during the episode. I want to know predictions. Who is he and who are the initiative people? Or who's leading everyone to?
My predictions weren't on that topic, actually.
Okay, well,
But-
go for.
I predict, because we see Neil ended up in a different land. What if Rumple and, everyone who tried to go to Neverland, what if they ended up somewhere else? Not Neverland. We know that Neverland's there and they're trying to get there, but what if they somehow ended up somewhere else too? And they're trying to get to Neverland.
Oh, goodness.
I want to predict how are they going to get out of Neverland?
Yep.
Because we were told that once you're there, you can't get out. So
Unless you have
how
a being.
did Bae get out in the first place? How did Hook get out in the first place?
Pixie dust.
And how will everyone get out after they've saved Henry? Because yes, they will save Henry.
Pixie dust.
I think you can get out with a bean, and I think that Greg and Tamara have a few extra since they're there. Maybe our guys can steal them back.
I don't think that Hook and Rumple's alliance is going to last. And I think Regina's going to be really good this next season.
I think they're all going to be very good, and they're all just going to team up against
Hopefully
evil person.
As bad as
Peter Pan
this
and-
sounds, I hope that we don't go back to Storybrooke. I hope that we see just a lot of the timeline being in the Enchanted Forest and Neverland.
I think we will.
Storybrooke, I love it, but
you
I'm more excited
guys.
about what's happening in these other places right now.
I predict that I'm going to be really bummed all summer long every single Sunday.
I predict I will be watching season 1 and 2. Rewatching them all summer.
And I predict we're going to be with you when we're watching them.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our season 2 after shows for Once Upon a Time. But please, please, please continue the conversation with us all summer long. We will be on Twitter answering any Once Upon a Time questions. We will also be on YouTube, commenting along with you guys. So, in the meantime, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
And you can find me on Twitter and my Facebook page at KAORIOUS.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at TweetT22.
You can tweet me at Cathy Kelley. You can tweet all of us at AfterBuzz TV. So for everyone here at AfterBuzz TV, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to have a good summer, and we will be back in the fall for season 3.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.